Okay, guys, so I have been introducing you to the idea of ejaculation choice. And to support this whole practice, I asked Lenerd Lowe to join me today and to give a man's perspective of what is the difference in lovemaking when you practice ejaculation choice versus not practicing ejaculation choice? What is the change that it will bring into your lovemaking?
Oh, the first thing is that you will make love for longer.
Mm.
As simple as that. Um, the moment you have, I like the word choice rather than control, but
Mm.
control and choice of when and how you want to ejaculate, it changes. It's a game changer. It changes everything with lovemaking. Um, so the moment you learn how to move the energy around in your body and how to make love for longer, which comes with a whole practice of semen retention, with a whole practice of ejaculation choice, then it means one of the direct results of there are many, many benefits to this. But one of the direct result or major benefit of that is that you just can make love for longer. Because normally if if you make love and you ejaculate, you know, after that there's a recovery period, a refractory period for you
Mm.
to get your erection again.
Mm.
And, whether it was 1 minute or 10 minutes, um, the fact is that brings the end to the lovemaking session in a way. Um,
Mm.
and then you need a refractory period, which could be from 5 minutes to 1 day, depending on your age.
Mm.
Um, However, if you can hold your ejaculation, it means you can go and make love for 20 minutes, half an hour, a few hours. Um, and the and
Yes.
and the major benefit for that with that is that obviously apart from the beautiful time that you spend together with your lover, another big part of that is that the slight difference in men and women, or a big difference actually in men and women, there is that guys are really quite fast and they get erection and boom, they're ready to make love. Whilst with women, it takes 10, 15, 20 minutes to really get into the orgasmic state.
Mm.
um, so my personal belief is that, or knowing is that, you at least need to make love for 10, 15, 20 minutes for the woman to get into her orgasmic state. So you don't have to give her an orgasm. It's not up to you, is it? It's up to everyone to have their orgasm. But the big contribution you can make is to just to be there, to be present, and to make love for a longer period.
Yeah, to stay present and to stay hard. And I think when I started experiencing making love to men that do ejaculation choice, is it shifted the whole orgasmic experience, like you say, the orgasmic state. In the past, it was seen as, okay, are we going to have an orgasm? So
Mm.
I would have like made love with someone and then the man would orgasm and hopefully the woman as well. And then that's the end of the lovemaking session. And then suddenly when I started making love to men that do ejaculation choice, there was that thing of the woman can enter into that orgasmic
Mm.
state and
Mm.
the man can simply stay there for her, and then it's not this thing of, are you
Mm.
going to maybe have an orgasm or one orgasm? It was literally allowing the space for the woman to drop into the first orgasm, the second, and
Mm.
then the orgasmic state just becomes deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and another thing that really comes to mind now on that, Leon, is that, and that's totally beautiful, perfect for the woman, but also for the man.
Mm.
Now all of a sudden it changes. It's now not just this destination of the person or the man having this ejaculation orgasm thing. Like you make love and then you have this end goal. It actually becomes a journey. The whole lovemaking, it becomes a journey for the guy, because you can have all this pleasure, and we can go into a bit more detail on that if you have the time.
Mm.
But it's not just like a few minutes of and build up and you crash over, and then it's this destination that you were going towards. the moment you practice ejaculation choice, then it becomes, the whole lovemaking session becomes this beautiful journey, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour. You don't even think about ejaculating. You're not thinking, oh, now I'm going to have this end goal. You just enjoy the lovemaking, and you enjoy the time with your lover, and you enjoy the sensations through your body, and the sensation of your, lingam, yoni, and if you do ejaculate at a point, that's okay, and that's fine. But it's a shift in how you view the lovemaking. It's not getting to a goal for the guy. It's also actually you drop more into the pleasure of the journey itself. And sometimes you ejaculate in that lovemaking session, and sometimes you don't.
Mm. And I think that's the big worry, or the big question is, what pleasure does the man then still have? Because now the woman's having all these orgasms, isn't the man left unsatisfied because he didn't ejaculate?
Yeah, that's so crazy. We're so conditioned, with that, and pornography plays a big part in that. All the cum shots, and the money shot, the cum shot, ejaculation is the thing, and yeah, it's ejaculation and orgasm are two different things, and most people think it's the same thing. So there are so many areas of pleasure that you can have. Just starting, almost like, let's break it down to three. Just the making love, just the connection, and having, your penis in the vagina, a lingam and a yoni, your cock in the pussy, just that energy and friction. I mean, that's pleasurable. Surely that's pleasurable. Just going in and out without anything happening, that's already pleasure.
That's good enough. Lovely, yes.
Yeah, so that's already pleasurable. You have pleasure. I mean, that's why your heart rate goes up, and so you're enjoying it. So now you can really drop into that part of that's almost, call it number one. Not one of the 3 points when I talk about. It's you can really drop into that sensation, and stroking the person and kissing their shoulders and their neck whilst you're making love, and feeling the skin on your fingertips, and vice versa. That whole experience is so ecstatic and so sensual. And then secondly, what you can also have is you can start having this orgasms without ejaculation. I think that's the second part of it, and there's maybe a 2A, 2B. 2A, where you can breathe the energy up, and then you can feel it through all of your body, and not enough time in this interview to really go into that, but it's almost like you can feel this vibration in your body. Some people call it a full body orgasm. I sometimes just call it, you feel sensations in your body, other areas in your toes and your fingers and your head, and of course the energy is moving. And then call it 2B, which is, you can also have genital contractions, so you can actually have these small orgasms or big orgasms without ejaculating. Sometimes that could feel like 20% of a full ejaculatory orgasm, sometimes 50%, sometimes 100%, not that doesn't happen every time, where we have the contraction, but your body then learned that the orgasm and the ejaculation are two things. So now you have this contraction, but you don't actually ejaculate. That's also quite a big topic to go into detail, but just as a pointer, that's 2B. And then 3 is where you actually have the ejaculation and orgasm together. But now, if you do that only every third or fourth or every second or any 10th time that you make love, now this ejaculation is also so much more intense, because it's a conscious ejaculation. You share it with your partner. How do you feel? I'm going to feel like, coming and ejaculating, inside you, over your body. Where would you like my seed? And it's a beautiful, yeah, exactly. This beautiful conscious sharing of the seed. This very precious life force energy seed. Life. This energy, the seed that gives life. So that's the third part. The conscious ejaculation, then the pleasure and everything that's related to that becomes also much more intense.
And I just want to go back a little bit to the second part that you mentioned, the actual genital contraction and no ejaculation. I think to get there takes a lot of practice. So you practice the holding the ejaculation back a lot, and eventually you get fine-tuned to your body
Exactly.
and you can almost ride that edge much finer.
Exactly. Exactly. So like anything, in life, if you if you go to the gym or you go to the gym swimming pool or swim in the sea or swim a length in a pool, you don't just start with 100 lengths, I mean, you just start maybe swimming 2 lengths and then later 10 and then maybe 40 and so on. Um, so it's like any art or any athletic sport or anything, there's something that you develop. You put your intention there. You want to become better at that and enjoy it more, become more masterful at that.
Mm.
And then it takes time to get there.
Yes.
But the journey of getting there is also fun. It's not as if like, oh, this is
Yes.
hard work and they're going to get there. So yes, it does take discipline. It does take focus. It does take the intention. But it's also not that like you have to be this, this kung fu master and there's only a few people that are selected to be able to do this. That's all nonsense. Every man can do this.
Yeah. And I think it's good to know that everyone can do it, but it's almost like you become a professional at lovemaking.
Yeah,
You you
exactly.
you practice certain additional skills if you
Mm.
want to be a good lover. These are the things that you will be doing,
I
and
love
you
that.
become an exceptional professional lover.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. We go to varsity or well, school, whatever, 12 years and varsity, go study a degree, 3 years to go and do a job or learn a specific profession, whatever it is, and then you become good at it.
Yeah,
You go and study
yeah,
plumbing before you become a plumber, or a university professor. You have to go and do a few degrees first, you have to put time in.
mm,
And so why not do it with making love?
exactly.
I mean, if you climb the mountain, you're going to start a small mountain first, and then climb a big mountain. And then a bigger hill, or a large, bigger,
Mm.
bigger hike. So
But it
yeah,
does help to get some pointers from people that have practiced, like I say, professional making to
sure,
say like these things would really help you, these skills will really help you, and then you know
sure.
what to practice.
Well, there you go. I mean, if you become a plumber, you're not going. It's not you get this download. I want to be a plumber, and you go to. So a lot of this experience and this knowledge is in our DNA for making love and so on. But we also a lot of it you get guidance and you put your mind to it and you have the
Yes,
intention to get better at it.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely. And I mean this whole thing, but you can't take any direction or any kind of input about how to make love. That's just crazy. That's just a egoistic nonsense.
yeah,
You would do it with anything else in your career and with anything else in your sport. Your cycling. You ask your cycling buddies, oh yeah, well, how can I do this? Or better and stuff, why wouldn't you do it in lovemaking?
yeah,
It's insane.
yeah. And then just another thing on the training and our practicing to become this master lover. So part of it is that you practice on your own with your own self-love and
Mm,
self-pleasure. And then the other part is that you are practicing with your partner. And here I just want to say as a woman that has been made love to by people that do ejaculation choice, that a big part of the practice is a co-creation. So you do need to communicate with your lover that you are doing ejaculation choice, because sometimes us women are also conditioned
mm,
just into the habits of a successful lovemaking session
mm,
is always the result of the guy
mm,
ejaculating.
mm, mm,
And
mm,
to suddenly realize, okay,
mm.
we now have a different pattern of moving with this
Ah,
lovemaking, and to tune into the man of when he is about to ejaculate. In the beginning, we need to communicate that with each other,
mm,
but later you get fine tuned.
for
And,
sure.
and, and then in that moment, when the man is holding back his ejaculation, sucking it up his spine, the woman also just for a moment stops moving. And then it's literally a few seconds, and then
Sure.
it can continue again, the lovemaking.
Sure, yeah, it's so critical to have the discussion and that your partner know what you're doing,
Mm.
and vice versa. Because the same way men are conditioned to ejaculate, the same way women are conditioned that ejaculation is linked to her desirability.
Mm.
So there's so much under the surface there that you may not even know about. So yeah, and then it's so important to have this discussion that that if you are practicing this, that your partner knows what you're doing, Otherwise, she's going to start getting worried why you're not ejaculating. So it's like
Yeah.
it's really not a practice just that one person does. It's like you do
Mm.
it as a couple. You do it. It's so important to have that discussion, and for all those other reasons you mentioned
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. And then as a couple, you
Mm,
benefit from it as individuals. The man
sure,
benefits from it. His energy levels are higher. His erection is stronger. The woman benefits from it because she has so many more orgasms because of the
sure.
time. And then as a couple, you benefit from it because you have just a much longer, more intimate connection with each other during a lovemaking session.
Oh, we can. Yes, exactly. And we can actually talk for hours about this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the and outside the lovemaking session, there's something really profound about, sure, not ejaculating every time with a woman that you're making love and holding the ejaculation, and so we're not saying don't ejaculate ever. We're just saying maybe it's not every day, maybe it's every 7 days, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. You find your own right, correct ejaculation frequency.
Mm,
But there's a very big part, a very amazing part that, and I'm also going to just leave the pointer there, without going into the
yes.
detail, is that the heart connection, it's almost counterintuitive, but the heart connection between the two people increases.
Mm,
If you as a guy don't every time ejaculate with inside her, but like maybe every third time or 10th time, or even every 100th time, like some of the Taoist masters 2,500 years ago, not even masters, was just a practice that from ancient China and from ancient India. So if you do that, it strengthens the heart connection in terms
mm.
of the man woman.
It's like an energy that just stays there.
Yeah, it's energy that stays there, and there's also in the psyche of our evolutionary process, and maybe I'll just briefly touch on to that. In the psyche of evolutionary process, if you as a man ejaculate in a woman, then you've done your job now. Now you're going to look for some other
Oh,
woman to ejaculate into, uh, because now you're going
it's the
to shift to that.
psyche of ejaculation is that
Exactly, and this is
that
not always
job is
politically
done.
correct. And
Mm,
I was cautious to talk about it without going too much detail because people can
mm,
misunderstand this thing. But there is a deep heart connection that happens when you don't ejaculate every time,
mm.
because your psyche and your evolutionary DNA process says you're still with this woman. You haven't impregnated this woman, or you haven't given her seed yet. So you're actually less, and there's nothing wrong with giving love to other women also, but the practice, the result is what you feel is you don't feel like you still feel, and you feel a much deeper heart connection also that comes out
Mm,
of that. And also after the love making, you want to cuddle with this person. Whilst normally
mm,
if you ejaculate and just normal, your body is tired, you want to have a bit more of a sleep. Whilst if you haven't ejaculated, you still stay in that energy,
mm.
and you are much more, as a man, cuddly with a woman, almost like women, generally speaking, would want to
Yes,
cuddle, and they say the
yes.
guys don't want to cuddle because it's just exhausted. You can't play, 300 million sperm cells that get that get released when you ejaculate. So
Yeah.
that's why you're tired. It's just normal. But if you don't, if you don't ejaculate, then you're not tired. So you still stay in that energy of that lovemaking energy, even though you're not inside penetrated, but you can still stay and cuddle.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah, and I mean we're just touching briefly on these things. So I hope it's not confusing, but there's so much in
Yeah.
this to look into further. Just some pointers.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's just so good that we bring up the topic and the possibility of ejaculation choice and just the benefits. And
Mm.
I think it can really enrich everybody's lovemaking. And seeing that we're speaking about being more orgasmic, just healing this world one orgasm at a time.
Mm. Yeah, and it's beautiful, that the beauty of this is that once you know what this is, the scariest thing in the world always for me is you don't know what you don't know.
Mm,
So if you don't know about this, you're missing out on such a big part of your life. Once you know about this, then you can still decide. to do it or not do it, but at least it's in your frame of reference now.
Then it's your choice.
It's your choice,
Ejaculation
and
choice.
sure,
Yeah.
and you can decide just to do some parts of for a period to just do the normal lovemaking, ejaculate every time, and then you can maybe for a few weeks do the non-ejaculatory, and you can combine it, you can play around with it, and at least it's in your awareness now.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing for me. It's just to get it everyone's decision now. So for me, I don't want to persuade anyone to do ejaculation choice. I just want to make them aware that it exists, and then they can choose for themselves.
Yeah. And then also always to find that natural rhythm for your own body, for you as a couple,
Sure.
and really always to make it your own. Like learn the skill and then make it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Lenerd. It really helps just getting the mutual perspective on this ejaculation choice. And thanks for coming in, the man, and sharing your wisdom. Thanks.
It's a big pleasure.